Hello and welcome to the Froggy Frog 9000 channel. I'm Froggy Frog 9000. You are currently watching Sundays with Froggy Frog 9000. Filmed today, Monday the 9th of April. You'll probably see it on Tuesday or thereafter. Sundays with Froggy Frog 9000 is my new initiative where I basically discuss topics on a list in front of me that relate to the channel and anything else that tickles my fancy. Just gonna let you know what's on that list for this one. First thing is my new planes. I've got some new planes off of a Steam sale. The reason why I've done that is because I'm gearing up to produce my next feature film, the Battle of Kalach. So the previous feature film, 3.5 hours long, was the lead up to the Battle of Kalach. The next one, a very exciting action-packed film, feature film, probably about 4 hours long, is going to be the Battle of Kalach proper. And as part of that, I've been compiling new acquisitions of aircraft to put into the film, which I've acquired on a Steam sale, so that I can be as close as possible to historically accurate in terms of the aircraft that appeared over the skies of the Eastern Front during the Battle of Kalach. I want to be able to include those aircraft as much as possible in my feature film. Does that make sense? So I've acquired a few aircraft for that, namely the one that you're seeing flying right now, which is the Yak-1B Series 127. In my opinion, in flying against this aeroplane in the game, it's the most capable aircraft. Certainly flying against it was very difficult. Once they got on your tail, you couldn't shake them. They're sort of equivalent to a P-51D Mustang. Very fast, very manoeuvrable, can't out-turn it, usually can't out-fly it, fast and manoeuvrable. So yeah, that's my new planes. I also acquired a Ju-52, the three-engined Junkers transport plane, which itself is probably equivalent to a Ford Tri-Motor or a Douglas DC-3, I guess. And what else did I acquire? I acquired a Macchi MC-202, the Italian fighter plane, with the, I think it's got a Daimler-Benz engine, same as in a BF-109. What else did I acquire? I acquired a Lavochkin LA5, not the FN, not the latest one that's now available, just the garden variety LA5, Lavochkin LA5. Again, I acquired all these aircraft because they appear over the skies of the Eastern Front during the Battle of Kalach. I'm also going to talk about Track IR, which I might as well do just now, and that is that I've noticed, you guys have probably noticed this already, but I've noticed that when I move my head wearing the Track IR, when I actually press F2 and look at the outside view, the external view, look at the aircraft, look at the pilot, I can see the head moving commensurately. So basically, when you articulate your head wearing Track IR and you look at that from external view, you can see that the developers have inculcated that into the game, and the pilot's head, rather than being fixed facing forward or doing its kind of movement routine that it cycles through, it actually to a large extent moves with the movement of the player's head, which just adds more realism. I don't think anyone asked them to do that, but the developers just included it at some point. Maybe it's been there for years, I don't know, but I only just noticed it yesterday, or thereabouts, a few days ago. And I think it's fantastic, and it's just another indication that the developers of the IL-2 Sturmovik series are not at all resting on their laurels, and they're just genuinely getting better and better. The game is getting better and better. They're improving it without being asked to improve it. Classic example of not resting on their laurels. I can honestly say that the IL-2 series is one game that just keeps on getting better and better over time. It's not static at all, it's dynamic. It keeps changing and it keeps improving. Even looking at the ground scenery there, that has changed recently with the latest update, whatever it was, 3.001. You no longer have the kind of farmland terrain, you have steppe, which is more authentic, which is fantastic. Also, I'm going to discuss something I learnt about Stukas. I had heard years ago that Stukas had an automatic pull-out system, like a system to pull out of a dive to maintain a 6G pull-out from a dive. and I've just found something interesting on Wikipedia about that, which I'm going to read. Also going to look at the Battle of Kalach, which I'm starting as of yesterday. It's going to take me about 2 months at a minimum to produce it. Going to look at the 1C developer blog, the dev blog. They've got some new pictures and stuff up there and some new detail, which is pretty exciting about the Battle of Bodenplatte up and coming. I'd like to take this opportunity to announce that my channel just broke 1 million views a few days ago. Really excited about that, and got something like 1,600 subscribers. Not exactly PewDiePie territory where he's getting 1 million subscribers a day, and he's got 62 million subscribers and gets 2 million views per video in the first 2 hours. I think I get 50 views in the first 2 hours, and but nonetheless, I think more people should watch my channel because it's got a lot to offer. And so that's 1 million views. 1 million views. I remember when I broke 100 subscribers, that was amazing. I remember when I got my first 2,000 views. It took ages to accumulate. Nowadays I accumulate 2,000 views in literally 45 minutes, day and night. So things have moved on quite significantly. It's quite exciting. I'd also like to plug my t-shirts. I have some aviation related t-shirts that are available on my Tumblr. You can access my Tumblr by clicking on the link next to my Patreon link. In the main page of my channel, you'll see both those links roughly in the top right of the page. If you click on the one that goes to my Tumblr, in there somewhere you'll see links to my Amazon page where you can buy t-shirts. One small thing with that though, you have to be in the United States. You can't purchase them at this stage out, or you can purchase them but they won't send them anywhere outside of, I guess it's the contiguous, is that the word? United States, continental United States. Have to have an address there to buy one at this stage. Amazon's rules. From a website similar to Wikipedia called wikivisually.com about the Junkers Ju-87 Stuka diving procedure. Flying at 4,600 meters, 15,000 feet, the pilot located his target through the bomb sight window in the cockpit floor. The pilot moved the dive lever to the rear, limiting the throw, quote unquote, of the control column. The dive brakes were activated automatically. The pilot set the trim tabs, reduced his throttle and closed the coolant flaps. The aircraft then rolled 180 degrees, automatically nosing the aircraft into a dive. Red tabs protruded from the upper surfaces of the wing as a visual indicator to the pilot that in case of a G-induced blackout, the automatic dive recovery system would be activated. The Stuka dived at an angle of 60 to 90 degrees, holding a constant speed of 500 to 600 kilometers an hour. Due to dive brake deployment, which increased the accuracy of the Ju-87's aim. When the aircraft was reasonably close to the target, a light on the contact altimeter came on to indicate the bomb release point, usually at a minimum height of 450 meters, 1,500 feet. The pilot released the bomb and initiated the automatic pull-out mechanism by depressing a knob on the control column. An elongated U-shaped crutch located under the fuselage swung the bomb out of the way of the propeller, and the aircraft automatically began a 6G pull-out. Wow. Once the nose was above the horizon, dive brakes were retracted, the throttle was opened, and the propeller was set to climb. The pilot regained control and resumed normal flight. So it sounds like there was a series of processes there that were done automatically by, I'm hesitant to call it a computer, but a system on board that was set to do those processes in a procedure, which is really impressive considering it's the 1940s. Here's something about G-force. Physical stress on crew was severe. Human beings subjected to more than 5 G-forces in a seated position will suffer vision impairment in the form of grey veil, known to Stuka pilots as seeing stars. They lose their vision while remaining conscious. After 5 seconds they black out. The Ju-87 pilots experienced the visual impairments most during pull-up from a dive. Eric Winkle-Brown, Royal Navy, a British test pilot and commanding officer of captured enemy aircraft flight section, tested the Ju-87 at RAE Farnborough. He said of the Stuka, "I had flown a lot of dive bombers and it is the only one that you can dive truly vertically. Sometimes with the dive bombers, maximum dive is usually in the order of 60 degrees. When flying the Stuka, because it's all automatic, you are really flying vertically. The Stuka was in a class of its own," says Eric Winkle-Brown. "I have been doing research on the Battle of Kalach for my upcoming movie, The Battle of Kalach, and here's an excerpt of what I've been looking at. Hitler ordered Richthofen to support 6 Army's new attack at Kalach west of the Don River on 7 August. Richthofen flew to Paulus's command post and then to Army Group B's headquarters, where the Supreme Commander Maximilian von Weiss was furious at the listlessness of the Italian and Hungarian units under his command authority. Both Paulus and Weiss were highly optimistic about the success of the offensive. Weiss and Richthofen carefully coordinated an all-out land/air Schwerpunkt, which means centre of gravity, on Kalach, which Richthofen planned to hit with everything he had. At dawn on 7 August, 14 and 24 Panzer Corps shredded the Soviet front line near Kalach from the north and the south, all the while receiving immense support from Freiberg's Air Corps and parts of Flugbühls. Within hours, the advancing armoured spearheads linked up west of Kalach, trapping the entire Soviet 62nd Army in an encirclement. Joined by 51 Army Corps, the Germans began systematically destroying the surrounded Soviet forces. The pocket was wiped out in 4 days, 50,000 prisoners were taken, and 1,100 tanks were destroyed or captured, throwing the Soviet leader Joseph Stalin into a panic and compelling him to feed more reserves into the fight at Stalingrad. Freiberg's Junkers Ju-87 Stuka dive bombers and Focke-Wulf FW-190 ground attack aircraft mercilessly hammered the trapped Soviet troops and vehicles, while Heinkel HE-111s and Junkers Ju-88 medium bombers bombed the Soviet railway network and airfields with impunity, destroying 20 Soviet aircraft on the ground on 10 August alone. The technically and numerically inferior Soviet 8th Air Army achieving nothing thanks to losing its 447 replacement aircraft from 20 July to 17 August as fast as it received them. The Soviet air forces had poor logistical systems, a low level of crew training and abysmal standards for Army air communications and liaison. The Soviet aircraft were prematurely committed to the fight immediately upon arrival and were promptly and easily destroyed by the experienced German aviators. The disparity in effectiveness between the combatants became evident on 12 August when Flieger Corps 8 destroyed 25 of 26 Soviet aircraft that attacked German airfields that day, suffering no losses in turn. No German losses were sustained the next day either, as Flieger Corps 8 destroyed 35 of 45 Soviet aircraft that tried to attack the German airfields. So that's a glimpse at the Battle of Kalach, particularly at the end of the battle, getting on towards between 7 August and getting on towards 11 August. Although the Germans lost World War II, and before that, at the turning point of World War II, where they went from winning to losing, which was Stalingrad. Before that, they lost at Stalingrad. Before Stalingrad was Kalach, and Kalach was the lead up to Stalingrad, and the Germans had a complete victory at Kalach. And one of the things that people are saying about my first movie, the lead up to the Battle of Kalach, is that it was too slow, too long, and that there wasn't enough action. That was done intentionally to be, as I see it, historically as accurate as possible. Sometimes in war, particularly on big fronts like the Eastern Front, there's nothing much going on apart from feverish logistical activity, which what that movie was mostly about. It's a different story with the Battle of Kalach. It's non-stop action. It's nothing but combat. You'll get sick of the combat. You'll have combat coming out your ears. It's just completely insane levels of intensity of combat, like the likes of which many of you most probably can't imagine. To give you some idea, think of, say, Saving Private Ryan on steroids. So that's my up-and-coming movie, The Battle of Kalach. Here's the website of the Sturmovik franchise. There's some really nice-looking pictures there relating to their up-and-coming projects. World War I aviator, the mouse is hovering over there. There's a training aircraft in the top right, roughly equivalent to a Boeing Stearman PT-17 with the radial engine and the biplane configuration. It's not a Stearman, but it's equivalent. You've got a tank there, which is really looking fantastic. You'll be able to drive and operate that tank. You've got a clipped wing Spitfire, fantastic. Late model BF-109, I think it's a G14. Yeah, those planes and tanks and the aviator from World War I look fantastic. So there's three projects. There's the World War I project, there's the tank project, and there's the Battle of Bodenplatte, which leads me to my next point, which I hope they can pull it off. Everyone remembers Cliffs of Dover, how disastrous that was. I don't want to see a repeat of Cliffs of Dover with Battle of Bodenplatte. I hope that doesn't follow with Battle of Bodenplatte, because frankly that's the best theatre that they can produce in terms of revenue for the company and in terms of passion and interest from fans like myself. If they can pull off Bodenplatte, it'll by far be probably an order of magnitude more successful than anything hitherto. Here's their World War I artist rendition, and it's looking very nice indeed, perfect. And here's a screenshot from their work in progress of Tank Crew. What tank is that? Is that a Tiger or a Panther? Panther, maybe, some kind of a Panther. No, Tiger. No, it's a Tiger, isn't it? That's a Tiger. So, just look at it. I mean, the tanks are already pretty good, and that tank is rendered even better. So those were some imageries from the latest developer blog post. Just until the end of this video, to jump back to my up-and-coming movie, The Battle of Kalach, what you can expect to see in that movie in contrast to the previous movie. The next movie is non-stop action. Battle of Kalach is non-stop action. It's a huge battle. It finishes on the 11th of August, and then there's a mopping up operation for about 2 weeks, up until the 23rd of August. That's when the Wehrmacht crosses the Don River, I guess on bridges, pontoons, rubber, inflatable boats, you name it, camels. There were camels out there, whatever they could get across the Don River on at that time. And you're going to see 1,100 tanks of the Soviet forces, particularly the 62nd Army and the tank divisions attached with it, get destroyed. You're going to see at least 450 Soviet aircraft get destroyed, many of them on the ground. There'll be raids by Ju-88s on train stations and larger infrastructure, factories and that sort of thing, and supply lines. There'll be tactical pinpoint attacks from Stukas and there'll be a lot of roving fighter aircraft as much as possible that befit the period. I don't want to start including aircraft that are too advanced for that period. So I'm going to try and adhere to historical authenticity, and there'll be coordination between the ground forces of the 6th Army and Luftflotte, whatever it was that Richthofen commanded, that'll be doing a lot of support of the 6th Army in its progress forward to the Don River. I just want to recap, I've got some t-shirts for sale on my Tumblr, which you can access through the link next to my Patreon link on the main page of the Froggy Frog 9000 channel. Just to recap as well, congratulations to the channel, and I guess to myself and you, the viewer. The channel's reached 1 million views recently. I'm very excited about that. It feels like a huge achievement, and onwards and upwards. I've been Froggy Frog 9000. This has been Sundays with Froggy Frog 9000, even though I'm filming this on a Monday. Tune in next week on the Sunday for the next instalment of Sundays with Froggy Frog 9000. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, like, share, and don't forget to consider donating on Patreon or through cryptocurrency. Links in the description of every video.